welcome to Yasuke Anime. Other than that, let's begin. So, some housekeeping rules before. If you guys are interested in reality TV, feel free to join my other channel, which is Yasuke Everything Else. I only have 6 subscribers, so please support me. I told you, I have a webtoon. The webtoon is really great. It's called Lunar Rainbow. Check it out. Let me know how you feel. Bye. Other than that, we can start talking about Yasuke. So today I'm going to be talking about this show that's on Netflix called Yasuke. I know a lot of people were excited about this, and I'm going to have some spoilers in here. So let me just tell you, it was okay. Okay. So there are many things I could say about Yasuke. I can say that his hands looked weird, and why did they choose that for his hands? The fact that in the English translation they use slave and servant interchangeably, I can critique that. Or why was there a robot? In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm going to talk about that later. And so much more, but today I don't have time to talk about all this. So I will be talking the majority about the plot holes and what didn't make sense. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail, so if you watch it, you're going to get what I'm saying. And if you don't like spoilers, I can't promise no spoilers, but I can promise that I'm not going to go into as much detail. So let's just continue. For those who don't know, Yasuke the Anime and what it is this show that's on Netflix that came out in 2021. Probably this week, I think, or last week. And so it's about the first black samurai that travels throughout Japan. And yeah, that's basically it. It also has a part in it where it's a magical girl in there, which doesn't make sense to the plot at all. But, you'll hear me talk about it later. Okay, and so let's talk about this too. Let's add on to some more information. So I had Googled what Yasuke was and who he was and like what the history behind it. And I found out that Yasuke is a real samurai, which we all knew this if you know who Yasuke is. But I found out that he wasn't the only black person in Japan, and that during the slave trade, in general, a lot of like black folks were given to Japanese people, which is so interesting. And that's so interesting, so tragic, to be honest. But it's the fact that a lot of Africans were given to Japanese people and able to work their way out of enslavement, because Japanese people in Japan, I know this is a little bit history lesson, I'm sorry, but Japanese people in Japan, like their servants weren't necessarily slaves, and in America, like, and in the rest of the world, like slave in the way that we see it, learn it in American history, is so different how other indentured servants were treated, because slavery was the thing that was inherited. Like people, like I'm gonna get into a history lesson here, but that folks you didn't inherit. Okay, I'm not trying to get into it, but this is black. We're talking about black stuff. Okay. Slavery was inherited, right? So that was the biggest issue, right? Versus the servitude, right? So if your parents was a servant, you didn't have to become a servant, right? But slavery, as globally, when it came to the Western world and how they did it, people for the first time in the world's history on a large scale inherited the identity slavery. So for 6-7 generations, everyone would be a slave and or a servant, right? And it wasn't necessarily a servant, because servant sounds pleasant. You can buy your way out of a servitude, right? Slavery, even though people would buy their ways out of slavery, it was really hard to get out of slavery. In fact, that people started to run away. So that's a little bit of a history lesson for you all. I know that was like something that people didn't ask for, but YouTube is so hard because so many people are racist. Like anytime I talk about racism, like people get all in my comments and it gets like really messy, and I'm not afraid to talk about racism. I do that in my job, but like the internet is a whole different landscape because it's a lot. I get notifications about it. But you know what, today I was like, we're talking about our first black samurai, so if y'all don't like talking about racism, don't come to my channel. Anyway, so let's just like continue talking about some of the plot holes that was in this. It's like they turned Huckleberry Finn into an anime, which is very weird to me personally, right? Because Huckleberry Finn is about a non-black child who goes on an adventure with like his black person that he met along his way of his adventure to get away from his family. I get that, but at the same time, it was like he was in search of like, it just felt like a Huckleberry Finn got turned into an anime and they like changed it a little bit Like, okay, instead of having a white child, we're gonna have like a Japanese girl, and she's gonna have magical powers, but you know, he's gonna support her throughout the whole thing. And I saw like a weird post which was like which was hilarious online. It said it should have been called The Boatman and the Magical Girl, because it was just like if Huckleberry Finn took place in Japan, like and then it was turned into an anime. That's what it felt like. It was just like I thought it was supposed to be about Yasuke, and it wasn't. And and I was just like, well, why did we need a Huckleberry Finn live adaptation in Japan anime? Like, I don't understand. Like, I felt like that was just like they were cheating us on that one. Also, I want to add on, I feel like Netflix was black baiting. They made it seem like it was going to be like a black anime. It was going to be good. It was going to have like good things about black folks. Black people going to be doing stuff. And in the essence, it was, but it was not like a good movie. A good show. It was not a good show. Like, it was okay. Like, it was just like, it was kind of boring. It would have action scenes, but it's because like I think that part of the reason why it was kind of boring, because it was like I expected this to be about a black man going on adventures, but instead it was about a black man and a little Japanese girl who have powers going on adventures, right? Also, I want to add on to my points from earlier is that why was there a robot there? Like, and why no one was shocked about a robot? And even one of the characters was like, oh, that's a robot. I'm like, but why is this a robot? And it's like 15th, 16th century Japan. Like, why is there a robot here? And like no one's shocked about it. And also, why is this person changes into like a bear? Like, this one lady, she just changed into like a bear or a werewolf or a bear wolf, I don't know. And I'm like, what is this power? And like, why does she look like she's from the 80s? Like, this, like, it was like a lot of characters that were in there that was just like, where are they from? Like, also, I want to add on, the biggest flaw with Yasuke was that it had so much randomness in it that was never explained. And I can get it if it was a comedy anime, you don't have to explain it. Like School Rumble, like, you don't have to explain anything in School Rumble. Why? Because it's a comedy. Like, it's just ridiculousness. You just know if you see something, just know you see it, you know? But even School Rumble would touch on some random stuff happening, right? But like, you know, and School Rumble is a great anime, so highly recommend. But like, yeah, I just was like, I don't understand why they're not explaining like this thing. Like, who's the priest? Like, why did he start working for her? Like, is he just an underling? Like, what? It's like a lot of stuff, and I'm just saying it from people who probably ever seen it. It's just like a lot of this stuff is confusing. It's like, well, what's his backstory? Like, why were people working for him? Because they were paying him, and like, so they was gonna like, it was just a lot. I'm just like, where you recruit these people from? Like, why is the robot? Who made the robot? Like, and then why do people know who robots are? Like, I'm sorry, I'm just repeating myself, but I'm just like, this is so stupid. It's so frustrating, because it's just like, y'all had just one job and no one did the job that they were supposed to. One job. And his call to adventure was weak. I felt it was just like, oh, I changed my mind, I'm gonna go on an adventure. It was just like, it was very weak. Like, all this, like, the writing was weak. The animation was decent. I wasn't mad about that. The voice acting, the English dub was kind of weak, but you know, most English dubs are weak anyway. Except like Full Metal Alchemist and like Dragon Ball. Like, some English dubs that have like really great dubs, and they sound better in English than they do in Japanese, to me personally. But so I'm more of like a English dub. I'm a dub person, but also a subs person. I'm willing to settle this debate about dubs and subs. I feel like whoever does it better, I'll listen to. LOL. Anyway, but yeah, I just feel like the show was not even like that. It was like it was parts in there where they were fighting and beating up people, and like I just wish that they would have just put in more effort into it, you know. And it was like the plot was like I just felt like it was just so piped up. And if I find a clip, I'm gonna put it in here of like the director talking about it and like how like good it's gonna be and like how cool it is. But if I can't find it, you're just gonna still hear my voice. But yeah, I'm just like, what is this? Like, it's just like, I can't believe like people just like greenlit this, and they were just like, and I feel like it was just like, it was a slap in the face, because you know, black nerds been wanting a black anime for so long. Like, we wanted black people to start in anime for so long. I want more diversity in black animes, to be honest. Like, I get it, like, we want to have like black men in there too, but I need black women to be in there. I need black children to be in there. I need black queer folks to be in there. I need like diversity, black disabled people. Like, I need diversity, right? of black people in there as well. So like I just don't want just one sole like cisgender straight black man in there. I just like, I don't know, for me I can't really get into it. But like I want a diversity of black people, because black people are diverse, right? I want some black people from Africa, and I want black people from America, some black people from Britain, you know, black people from South America. Like I need some diversity in my black folks, right? Especially if we're gonna talk about like black people traveling the world and going on adventures and shit. I need that diversity. But yeah, with that said, I know I didn't really go too much into a plot because I try not to spoil it all, but I just wanted to rant about it, to be honest. But I just want to go into one part that pissed me off. It's just like the thing that pissed me off about the show the most, that the most powerful person in the show is not the main character. No, it was not this black man. It was this little Japanese girl, and that's it. And his whole goal was to protect her. And then they did a little twist where it was like, we're gonna protect each other. And I was just like, I don't know, it just felt weird. It felt not okay. It felt like I felt lied to about the premise, you know. Like I felt like I thought it was gonna be a historical anime, and that in the sense of like it was gonna, and I know I've seen a little bit of the previews because I didn't want to like spoil it that much for myself, even though I don't mind spoilers, but I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna sit this one out. But anyway, it was just like, I just felt like it was just not good. It was just like, I felt like they really didn't really keep into mind like the audience, and that it felt like an old black person who kind of watched anime when they were a kid would like that made it like, it felt very disconnected. It felt like not an anime. It felt like a movie that was adapted into an anime, but that was just had a terrible plot, right? It felt like I just feel like it was just not, it wasn't fun to watch. It was like I kept trying to get into it. I kept trying to watch it, and I watched the episode. I completed the whole series because I was like, hey, maybe I'll like it towards the end. Maybe it gets better, but nope, it's just not. And it was just like, it's kind of, it was very disappointing. It really was. And you would think that it would be great and fun and interesting, even though the art was like really decent, the character design was decent, the voice actors, you know, they did their thing to a certain extent. But at the same time, it was just like not good. It wasn't fun to watch. I was literally sitting through an action scene and they were fighting, and I was just like, why am I bored? Like, this is like, because I wasn't invested in the story. A lot of the story wasn't investment worthy, you know. It was just very much people fighting, and you're like, not even like, it was so many plot points that were never answered. Like, why does she have powers? Why do other kids have powers? Why is this person trying to take her powers? Like, what do they gain if they take her powers, right? Or like, why what happened with him in that gap time? Like, he just leave? Like, when he why is this clan so special, right? Like, why is this clan falling? Like, how big is this clan that we kept seeing with the necklace out the whole time? Like, how big is that clan? Like, why are they so special? Why do they keep popping up, right? You know, in the beginning, like, what led up to like Oda like dying? Like, in the beginning of the movie, I keep saying movie because it felt like a movie, but it wasn't. It was supposed to be a show. Like, you know. But in the beginning, he was like, this people was like burning, like, the, you know, they came in and they were like destroying all this property, and they were like, you know, I don't know, it was just like, it was a whole war taking place at his house, and Oda had a whole war taking place at his house, and then Yasuke had to like murder him. And I was like, and this is like in the first 30 seconds, so I was like, oh, are we gonna find out why they did that? And I guess we get a hint to it, and they were like, they did it because he took black people in and women. But I was just like, but who did it, you know? Like, who did it? Like, the clan they were fighting against? Or is it everyone? Isn't this like Feudal era Japan? Like, wasn't everyone fighting for power? Like, he just died? Like, can we get a little bit of a history lesson of like what happened? Like, what led up to this? Like, they said like someone betrayed them, but like she died in the battle. So like, what happened after that? It was like a lot of gaps in the story. Also, I just felt like they should have just told it from the past. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we didn't even need the magical girl element. Like, we saw everything told in the backstory, but I was just like, why isn't it just told to us now? Like, why couldn't we see it happening? And then like, we should be going through these days with them, right? Like, we here for Yasuke, we're not here for the magical girl. Like, it was just like, it felt like she was just like thrown in there, and it just felt weird. And then she became, I don't know, it was just a lot of the loops was just like, but also I felt like it was so focused on him being black that they forgot to tell the story. Like, he was the first black samurai. Oh, this guy's a black man. Look how black he is. He's black. He's black. He's black. And I was just like, okay, so how did that affect him, you know, other than people being racist? Like, of course racism affected, but like, what ways, like, did he what ways did he, like, I don't want to say overcome, but, you know, what ways did he get through this, like, situation in Japan? Like, how did he become part of culture? How do people, you know, like, how did he learn Japanese? Like, it's like, how did he become the samurai that he is? How did he gain power? How did he have a family? You know, because the real one had a family, but it's just like, how did, like, people feel about him becoming that? Like, you know, but also, like, just, I don't know, how did he practice? You know, it's just like, it felt like the humanity, I guess, like, I'm not explaining this right, but it felt like his humanity wasn't really shown. It was just shown that he was a black person. Like, it was like the writer's like, I'm so excited that this person is black, that they forget to write, like, the intricateness of black people, right? Like, black people are black, but it's just like, at the same time, we have interests, we have hobbies, you know, like, his Yasuke, I can sum him up like 2 sentences. He's black and he's good at fighting. But that's not really a character. Like, that character's like very flat then. It's just like, so, I mean, unless it's Goku, but Goku also likes to eat. He likes to fight because he's a Saiyan, you know. Like, you can literally, like, think of Goku and be like, oh, he loves his kids, you know, Vegeta's like one of his best friends. He likes friendship, you know, like, I don't know. I just felt like Goku's not just a man who likes to fight, right? Like, even when I think of other animes and, like, you know, in my head, I'm like, well, of course, like, these people are just not folks just like who likes to fight, right? Like, these are not just like people who like to fight. So I just feel just kind of upset right now and disappointed in it. And I just feel like my thoughts are all over the place because I'm just like, why is this show the way it is? And like, it's okay for them to focus on him being black, because I don't mind that, because he was one of the first black samurai. But the problem that I have, and the biggest problem I have, is that the fact that this is a black man, but we just didn't get to know him. It was just like, we were told who he was, but we didn't get to know who he was. And that's the most disappointing part about this story. Yeah, that's the most disappointing part about the story. I do wish that they would have revamped it, and I hope that this sparks like more of like a movie and more accurate, historically accurate history about it, because I am still interested in Yasuke history. But with that said, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Other than that, this has been Sway Bay Anime. Peace.